The title of this book, The Spiritual Man. We are in great part 6 of this book, chapter 2 of this great part 6, chapter 2, The Law of the Spirit. I remember that we were in chapter 2 in the different part that have been speak, but I make an error and say that chapter 1. Please, it is chapter 2 of this great part 6. This is very important. Chapter 2, the title, The Law of the Spirit. Chapter 2, subpart 5. The sixth law of the Spirit, urban of the Spirit. God's life and power in our spirit can recede like a tide. We recognize that anyone so soulish usually deem his spiritual life to be at high tide when he feel the presence of God. But if he feel low and dry, he is at ebb tide. These are, of course, but feelings. They do not represent the reality of spiritual life. Nevertheless, spiritual life does encounter a time of decline, thought it is quite unlike any feeling of the soul. After one is filled with the Holy Spirit, he can proceed quite well for a period and then gradually, not suddenly, his spiritual life subside. The difference between sensuous decline and spiritual decline lie here. The former is usually abrupt, whereas the latter is gradual. The believer may become conscious that the life and power of God which he once received is gradually ebbing. This may cause him to lose the joy, peace, and power which his spirit ought to sustain. Day by day, he grows weaker. At this time, he seemed to lose his taste for communion with God. His Bible reading become meaningless rarely, if at all, is his heart touched by any message or special verse. Moreover, his prayer turned dry and dreary, as if there is neither sense nor word, and his witnessing appear to be forced and reluctant, not overflowing as before. In other words, life is no longer as vibrant, strong, buoyant, or joyous as before. Everything seemed to have receded. A tide has its ebb and flow. Can God's life and power in our spirit likewise be characterized by such phenomena? By no means. God's life knew not such ebb, because it is forever flowing. It does not rise and fall as the ocean tide, but it's like a river ever flowing with living water. In John chapter 7, verse 38. God's life in us is not at all like the tide which must ebb at a certain hour, because the source of our inner life is in God, with whom there is no variation or shadow due to change. In James chapter 1, verse 17. Hence, the life in our spirit should flow like a river incessantly and into overflowing. Wherefore, if anyone become aware that his life is receding, he should understand that life does not subside, it simply ceases to flow. He should know as well that such ebbing is totally unnecessary. Never be so deceived by Satan as to consider it impossible for one who is still in the body to be filled permanently with the life of God. His life in us is like a river of living water. If it is not hindered, it shall flow uninterruptedly. A Christian can experience a life forever flowing. An herb dye is not only unnecessary but abnormal as well. The question in hand is accordingly not how we may induce spiritual life to rise up after it has fallen. Rather, it is how we may get it to flow. The fountain of life remains within the believer. Third, it is now blocked. Nothing is wrong with the inlet. It is the outlet which is obstructed. The water of life does not spring forth because the flow has no way through. Where the outlet clear, the water of life will flow incessantly. What a child of God therefore need is not more life but more flow of life. Immediately upon sensing a warning in his spiritual life, a child of God automatically should realize an obstruction must exist somewhere. Satan will accuse you of having progressed spiritually. Other people will judge you as having lost power, and you yourself will imagine you must have committed some grave sin. These may be true, but they do not form the whole truth. Actually, such a situation is mostly thought, not entirely, created because of our not knowing how to cooperate with God in fulfilling His condition for the certainty of ceaseless flow, foolishness of a prime factor. Hence, a person should immediately pray and meditate over and test and search out the cause for such an urban. He should wait upon God, asking His Spirit to reveal the reason. In the meantime, he should try to unearth where he has failed to fulfill the condition for the steady flow of life. Not only should you confess that you have drawn back and got such confession is important, but also you should actively ferret out the explanation for the falling back. Why the opinion of Satan, other and yourself are independable, they are still worth considering, since sometimes they are real. Upon discovering the cause, you must deal with it without delay. Life will not flow until the cause of obstruction is duly treated. Consequently, at each tide in spiritual life, one must instantly begin to isolate its cause through prayer, meditation, and searching. Knew the law of the flow of God's life repels every attack of the enemy. Then life once again shall flow stronger than before, breaking through every stronghold of the enemy. Law 7. Irresponsibility of the Spirit. Irresponsibility of the Spirit. Man's spirit can be compared to an electric bulb. When in contact with the Holy Spirit, it shines, but should it be disconnected, it plunges into darkness. The spirit of man is the lamp of the Lord. In Proverbs chapter 20, verse 27. God's aim is to fill the human spirit with light, yet the believer's spirit is sometimes darkened. Why is this? It is because it has lost contact with the Holy Spirit. To perceive whether or not one's spirit is connected with the Holy Spirit, one need only notice if it is shining. We have said before that God's Spirit dwells in man and that he cooperates with him through his own spirit. If the spirit of man has been deprived of its normal condition, it will seem to be disconnected from the Holy Spirit, losing all its light. It thus is very necessary for us to maintain our spirit in a healthy, quiet state so as to ensure its cooperation with the Holy Spirit. If it is disturbed by external force, it automatically is bereft of its power to cooperate with the Holy Spirit and is plunged into darkness. Now, these phenomena cause the spirit to fall in its responsibility to cooperating with the Holy Spirit. As long as it is responsible, victory remains impossible. Suppose a person rising in the morning feels as thought he has lost his spirit. The enemy will perhaps induce him to think it is due to physical weariness, lingering from yesterday's overwork. If he take the enemy's suggestion without question and allow his spirit to become irresponsible, he shall be stripped of all his strength to repel that day's temptation as well as to accomplish that day's work. He should search right away for the real cause, for the spirit ought to be active and powerful enough to regulate the body and not be adversely affected by it. He should acknowledge that his spirit, having been assaulted by the enemy, has become irresponsible. He must seek immediate recovery, or else he shall be defeated the moment he meets anyone. Never permit the early irresponsible state of the spirit to continue until midday, for this is a sure way to defeat. Once realizing his spirit has been irresponsible, a believer should oppose without delay all the work of the enemy as well as the cause for the enemy's work. Should it be purely the attack of the adversary, the spirit will regain its freedom after having resisted. But if there is justification for the attack, that is, if the person has given any ground to the enemy, then he must uncover the reason and deal with it. Usually, the reason is related to the past history of the individual. You need to pray over such various matters as his environment, family, relative, friends, work, and so forth. When his spirit sends release after a certain matter has been prayed over, then he has isolated the cause for the enemy's assault. Shortly after he has taken care of this matter, the believer's spirit will be freed and restored to its function. Sometimes, however, the irresponsibility of the spirit is because the Christian has loosened the rein, allowing the spirit to stray off course. But we should not from the world that the spirit of prophet are subject to prophet. God, 1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 32, and woe to the foolish prophet who follow their own spirit. God, Ezekiel chapter 13 verse 3. How extremely important for a Christian to control his spirit by exercising his will so that his spirit may not go to extreme, but be keep in that state of cooperation with God. Man's spirit can go wild. Hence, a healthy spirit is remarked upon in Proverbs. In God chapter 16, Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18. The spirit of man can take action independent of God's spirit if a believer does not exercise mastery over it and make it subject to him.